Hello, guys. Good evening. How are we all doing? Please, I hope everybody is fine. Please confirm if you can hear me. All right. Good day. Good day. Good day, everybody. Please confirm if you can hear me. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right. Very funny. Very funny. Audio check, right? Yeah. James Ogunjimi. Yeah. I hope I got the pronunciation. Vomayang B, 5 in 5. All right. I'm just picking name randomly. Isoken Ibe. Good evening. All right. Thank you, guys. I've been doing fine. Thank you, Cynthia. I've been doing great. Thank you. Thank you. Nwolu Gifts. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for asking. Peter Ina, right? I know I think I've not called any of the guys I'm calling this evening. Diamond Config Master, thank you. Ajayi Paul, thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Nice. All right. Me, I will say international salute. Oh, Aderito Isaiah, my boss. I greet you, I greet you, I greet you. All right, I'm lawyer. Your boy is lawyer. So for our international audience, right? Like we have some very strange way of greeting each other in Nigeria, right? So permit my Nigerian way um of greeting. Someone is asking about my beautiful angel. God, oh my God, oh my God. No comment on that. Work is great. Work is great. Work is great, guys. Yeah, I mean, like you, work has been really, really interesting of recent, right? I've been working on some. We've been working on some projects at the office. I wish I could say a lot about it here, like some very, very interesting projects, and it's been very interesting, but at the same time, it has also been very demanding. Yeah, quite demanding. Like, but yeah, I've been enjoying myself. Trust me, like some crazy, crazy finding, right? But I mean, NDA do not permit me to talk about those things, right? But trust me, all I can say is, guys, please just do the cyber security thing. Some days you feel on top of the world. I mean, there are bad days where you feel like, what am I doing with my life? But I mean, as much as it has been intense, as much as like work has been very demanding, and yeah, I mean, we still get one of those moments where I scream from my chair and I'm like, wow, this thing, I got it. Yeah. So yeah, that is how I've been for the past 1 week. Yeah, we've not seen each other for 1 week. So thank you. Yeah, will I say I've missed you guys? Maybe I'll be lying if I say I've missed you guys. But yeah, I mean, I actually enjoy these sessions. Yeah. So yeah, I've missed you guys also. So I was saying, this Paul Pev, you gave thank you. Let me answer. I mean, Ah, okay. Yes, so Mr. Nice, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Happy Children's Day, everybody. Happy Children's Day, everybody. Someone say I should be one day there. That's interesting. Yeah, my comrade Ebenezer. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, like, let's just talk a little. before we get to what we have for today. So we have some interesting things today, right? We have digital forensics to talk about. But before we go there, this is week 6, guys. Yeah, this is week 6, and we've actually come a really long way in this training. We've come a really long way in this training, and I'm proud of you guys, honestly speaking, right? To the few people I've been able to talk to on LinkedIn, right? Like I always say, please just keep pushing, right? Keep pushing. It's so easy for some people to say, "Oh, you want to be like Emmanuel," right? And yeah, but always let's not forget that. I mean, professionally, I've been doing this for 3 years, right? So please don't be too hard on yourself. Don't try to compare yourself with Emmanuel, right? Right? You might get discouraged by doing that. I have been doing this professionally for 3 years now. Professionally, not counting the whole university hustle and all those kind of things, the non-professional ones, right? So enjoy the process, guys, but then just keep digging. You guys are on the right path, right? And yeah, also let me just hear from you guys. Let me hear from you guys. How has it been so far? I hope you guys are consulting. I hope you guys are consulting extra material, right? Like I always say, I hope you are not just restricting your knowledge to what is being discussed in this class, in as much as it is our job to expose you to what will help you, to guide you, to structure you, right? It will also be of tremendous benefit if you can actually do a lot more hard work beyond what we do in this in our sessions, right? Remember, most time, like I say, right, most of what we do, we say on a very high level, right? So it's left for you to now dig deeper and all those kind of stuff. All right. Okay, welcome, James. Right, don't feel bad. I mean, our videos are recorded, so you can always go back and visit some of the things we discussed. So someone is asking for my LinkedIn name. Okay, that's interesting. Let me show you my LinkedIn name for the person asking. So yes, so this is my name. This is this screenshot was actually taken from my LinkedIn, right? So most of the information you need about me are on this screenshot, okay? Okay, so someone is asking extra materials that you can um consult. Yeah, so we have a couple of great resources, right? We have platforms like Try Hack Me, we have platforms like Hack the Box. So I mean, and they have a good number of free resources, right? And then if you have the extra money and then you subscribe to some of these platforms, right? You are totally going to enjoy a lot of the things you learn from those platforms, right? So yeah, definitely check out Try Hack Me. Try Hack Me, that's the name of the platform, right? Play around with it. Then we have Hack the Box, right? Look at Hack the Box and all those things. Okay, so those are like great places for you to start. These are just some. There are a lot more others, right? There are some great YouTube pages, right? There are some great, fantastic YouTube pages. We have TCM, right? That is the cyber mentor, right? So you check YouTube for the cyber mentor. He has like zero to hero cyber security, but he is more focused. Most of those courses are more focused on like pen testing, offensive security inclined. But I mean, recently, he released one of his courses, which is like a 10 hours, 8 hours course on becoming a SOC analyst, right? So that's like I mean, I can't put it to word, but as a professional, I know what it takes to give that kind of knowledge out for free because that that used to be one of his costs that people have to pay for. But then CCM, that is the cyber mentor, they just have this knowledge, this behavior of trying to give back to the society, trying to help anybody that want to come into cybersecurity, right? And they're always very good. If you should go through their resource and you actually finish through their material, right? You will be in a very good place to get hired. Like you'll be in a good position to be hired, right? Trust me, as a professional, like the knowledge is actually very, very secure. Okay, Sora is asking about Cyber. Yes, actually, Cyber was where I started my cybersecurity journey, right? Apart from my school, where I started when I started consulting like some other external knowledge, Cyber has been around for quite a while, right? So yeah, Cyber is also good, right? But I didn't stay too long on Cyber. You get. Okay, so okay, the link to the course. Okay, I'll look for a way to get that out for you guys. But okay, let's do something different this evening because I just want to catch up on you guys because we are moving really, really fast now. We are almost getting to the middle of our course rather. So yeah. So sorry if I'm skipping your message. I have a lot of message flying around. Like a whole lot of message flying around. So I will try to go back to it, right? Let's just catch up a little bit, have a little fun moment, and then we'll get to what we have for today. Hopefully, we get to finish our slide, but I feel we should do this today, right? So if I should go to YouTube, sorry, please don't mind my YouTube algorithm is it can be very, very interesting, right? So if I go to the cyber mentor, right? So this is the page, right? You can see that I'm even subscribed because they've trust me. I'm not ashamed to say like once in a while I come here to refresh my memories to come and learn one or two things here, right? But the hard part of this is since the courses are very, very long, it can be very intense, right? Remember that our graph that we introduced at the very first session, which we had together, right? So you get to a lot of those discouraging moments, right? So if you can go through this, you'll be in a very good place. So you can see like ethical hacking in 15 hours, right? Right. This 15 hours course might take you, trust me, this course, it might take you 3 months. It might take you 4 months, right, to complete. Forget that it's 15 hours, forget that it's 5 hours. It will take you a whole lot of time. So you can't finish the 5 hours course in 5 hours. You get. Okay, so yeah, you go through this. So if you want to become like a pen tester, right, beyond what we are treating in this session, right, you want to consult some of these materials, right? Then also, if you have like some money that you can actually spend, I will advise you subscribe and pay for his platform, right? He does a very great job, right? But if you don't have money, right, and then you want to extend, yeah, you have this. So you can see this. Then let's scroll up. You see SOC analyst. You can see this security operation SOC analyst 11 hours, right? So this about 11 hours, this one. If you should go through this also coupled with what we've been introducing you guys to in this our session, you'll be in a very, very good place, right? So highly recommend the cyber mentor, right? Fantastic guy, great guy. And please, cyber mentor, if you see this course, please, I'm a big fan. Okay. I'm a huge fan of what you do. All right. So yeah. So I just feel I need to touch on this and let's get back to our slide. Okay, so let me try to attend to. Okay, someone is saying you should please like the video. Yes, please like the video. Also, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Also, if you are just starting out, right? So definitely check out the incubator hub, right? The incubator, right? We've done some really, really fantastic job, right? And please don't forget to like, subscribe, right? Subscribe, right? So if you go through the archive, right, you see some of the sessions, not just this digital skill Africa. Like we have some old resources that are still really, really relevant, right? That you can actually go through. Okay, so yeah, so go through some of these resources, right? They will really help you. Like I think one thing that makes us stand out, right? That personally, right, you agree with me is most time what we discuss, right, in our sessions, we always try as much as possible to explain it in a way that our target audience, which are Africans, right, can actually can actually relate to it, can actually understand, right? Because you know, like one thing is that sometimes, I mean, we are training you for um the international market, right? We are training you not just for Nigeria, not just for Africa, but for the world, right? And you should be able to deliver skill wise anywhere in the world, right? But I mean, we are not also removing the fact that you might actually have be working for an African organization, a Nigerian organization, right? So most I will always try as much as possible. I mean, personally, right, it's something that is very strong on my heart because I'm a very proud Nigerian, right? Is we always try to bring things to the context um of our of our own environment, right? So sometimes thing happens from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. So it's also something you I want to put out there. So if you want something that you can easily understand, right? I'm by no way saying the other one guys are not good. I mean, I love Cyber Mentor, love Try Hack Me, love Hack the Box. I mean, I've paid a few times on those platforms, right? Just to acquire their knowledge, right? Well, you need something from somebody that understands you, right? Trust me, the Incubator Hub, right? Check out our YouTube, right? Now it sounds like I'm doing like I'm doing advertisements, right? But yeah, you guys get the points, right? So check out, we have like some really nice content here that can always help you, right? If you're a complete beginner, I think that's one thing most of you can actually attest to, right? That we always try to make sure we don't just assume, you've known something. We always try as much as possible to explain from the very, very basic level. Okay, so yeah, someone said I'm the one that sets the quiz. Ah, Victor Edem, how are you so sure I'm the one that set the quiz? Is the questions are not hard enough for what? The questions are not hard enough. Okay, yes, I'm still have people complaining about not receiving invites. That's strange. By now, we expect everybody to be um to be settled with that. Obadiah, where's the cutoff mark? Where's the cutoff mark? This is not jump now. I mean, what I would just say is, I mean, study hard, do well, and you shouldn't be bothering yourself about cutoff mine. Personally, I get the very best I can get and not try to disturb myself with the minimum thing required, right? So yeah, just aim for the highest. Don't be looking for cutoff and all those things. That's where me I see. That's my view, Sha. That's my view. That's my take. Right. Okay. So I think we are 20 minutes into our session. Okay, so Agbara victory. I checked on Try Me. It was really yeah. All right, nice. So you guys can see somebody saying it. Oh, Diamond Config Master. I've been using Try Me since 2022. That's actually really fantastic. All right. Okay, Oluwadami Lede Bubu. Ha. Incubator over. Please, I wasn't able to take the just concluded with despite my PR messaging. I just hope the queue will. Okay, I think I'll communicate this and let's see what can be done if you miss the quiz. But trust, I can't promise, right? Because you know that's beyond my power. Okay, all right. right. I still have people talking about the LMS. That's quite strange. Okay, yeah, so King Joshua Moses has a point. Are you guys sure you registered? Let's not focus on that tonight. Okay. All right. So yeah, so you guys give me a brief recap of what we've done so far. I'm sure you guys really had a great time with peace last week, right? You guys started pen testing and vulnerability analysis. So you guys did some nmap stuff, right? Somebody tagged me on LinkedIn, and I was like, okay, that's nice. You guys are already playing around with nmap, all those kind of things. So yeah, you guys should just give me a brief recap. Okay. Yeah, so I'm waiting, and we can jump to what we have for tonight. Okay. 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 Nice. So Ibukun, we did Nmap. Um Femi Bello, yes. All right. To Tobechuku, we did scanning. Epenusi, VAPT methodology. Nice. Okay. King David. Okay, I mean, I wouldn't say she was harsh. Nah, are you sure that's not your personal opinion? Right. Okay, Paul, VAPT. I have a lot of VAPT. Okay, that's from Timileyin Ngozi. Caleb, we did some scanning on Nmap. Okay, Osasunwe, we worked on scanning on non-ports. All right, nice. Okay, a lot of VAPT. Okay, King David, she taught us scanning. All right, nice. Okay, beautiful. All right, so thank you guys. And okay, now I love this Martin. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. We did demo on planning and scope, reconnaissance, and scanning too. Yeah, I love this. I love this description. Okay, Eden Victor, I got taught by Peace though on Samba Von CB 2012 1182. When I was checking for the vulnerability in a port, I didn't know what it means. You didn't know what it means. I hope you did research, remember? Right. Okay, now Bara Christian. Google docking. Yeah, nice. Google docking is actually cool, but please stay ethical, stay safe because you'll see a lot of interesting things online. And at that point, you have to stay guided so you don't end up in trouble. Okay. So yeah, I love what I'm saying. I love what I'm saying. Yes, thank you. This Olalekan Adeshino, identifying vulnerabilities before cyber criminals do. Yeah, very important. You identify it before cyber criminals do, and then you report responsibly, right? Okay, Ambali Kuburat is we were introduced to Shodan. To Shodan, yeah, that's actually nice. Then additional Multigo, yeah. Peter Amechi Physics Consulting, Google Docking, Tamabi Ven. We learned how to do proper recon when we have a case in our hand. All right. Okay, I see Wapalizer. Yeah, Benga Richard Wapalizer. Okay. Yemisi Aregbe Obanikuru. We have done common network attack VPT. Okay, nice. Okay, Insight TV. We run through VAPT Recon, use the Nmap too. Okay, nice. Okay, Afolayan. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you guys. Time is flying tonight. Oh my god. Okay. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So yeah, tonight we will be talking about forensics. Yeah, forensics. Right. Introduction to digital forensics. So yeah, we did our recap already. So let's not waste time on that. We've done that. So expectation, right? Understand the concept of digital forensics, learn how digital evidence is being collected, understand the chain of custody and its importance, and then also tonight we'll talk about anti-forensics and some other cool stuff. By the way, okay, so, but before we jump to what we have for tonight, right? Before we jump to what we have for tonight, before we jump to what I have in my slide. So, when we talk about forensics, right? When we talk about forensics, so I mean, I'm seeing a lot more beautiful comment, but I mean, let's shift our attention to digital forensic. Thank you guys for those naming DNS dumpster, beautiful tool. I love it. It's one of those tools I use very, very often. Great stuff. But let's get back to what we have to our focus for tonight, right? So when you hear about um digital forensics, right? What comes to mind? What comes to your mind? What comes to your mind when you hear about when we talk about digital forensics, right? What comes to your mind? Can somebody explain? And I'll be on the lookout in the comment section, right? I'll be on the lookout in the comment section for your answers, okay? Okay, thank you. Thank you. So, Stephen investigation, Dara Mola investigation, are we? Okay. Investigating crime, um, Akinbesote, oh my God, Oluwatosin, cybercrime, Oluwaseun, a process that involves gathering, analyzing, and preserving electronic data for use in investigation, often legally. Beautiful. I love this. I love this. Okay. Aquaji fact finding. Yeah, fact finding. I love that. Fact finding. Right. So it's not based on emotion, it's based on facts, right? Nwachukwu, sort of like an investigation. Yeah, very, very correct. Sort of like an investigation. Mm. Is it sort of, or it is really investigation? Okay. Ebenezer is the process of identifying, preserving, analyzing, and presenting digital evidence. Okay. I mean, this definition that Ebenezer and the other person gave, you guys sure you are not using AI for me? I mean, now you have to be very, you have to be very careful when you ask questions because people are so quick to use AI. Okay, so yeah, extensive audit of digital space. This Damola Adegun. Yeah, very, very accurate, very, very correct. Digital investigation, Mary Imasuen, Vanessa, it's analyzing digital evidence. Okay, someone is asking a question, but let's not derail from what we are talking about tonight, please. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of comments. So please permit me if I didn't talk if I didn't touch your this thing, but going through this, like a lot of what you guys are saying are very, very on point, right? Are very, very on point. So yeah, well done, guys. So let's jump to what may I have. What is digital forensics, right? And you guys have a lot of you guys have spoken, and I love the fact that a lot of you guys are not just talking about investigation. You guys are already making the distinction that this has to do with like digital artifacts, which is very, 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 very accurate, which is very, very correct. Yes, so I have here, right, that digital forensic involves identifying, preserving, analyzing, and presenting digital evidence. So I want you guys to pay attention to each word. It involves what? First identifying, right? And then you have to make sure it is properly preserved, right? Right. And then some analysis will be carried out on this information or this data, right? And finally, at the end of the day, you are not just doing all of these things for fun. Remember, this one thing that we've been trying to explain, right? We've tried to explain a good number of times, right? That this knowledge that you're acquiring is not just for fun, it's not just for you to go out and be showing your friends some cool stuff, right? It's very tempting to want to do that, right? But then at the end of the day, the reason why you're carrying out digital forensic or incident response is because you have something to present to somebody. So presenting the digital evidence is like very, very important, right? So I'm just going to borrow something from vulnerability analysis and pen testing or offensive security that you guys did last week, right? So there's a popular saying, right, in pen testing that the most important thing in pen testing is not how cool the hack is, that the hack that you did is not how complex you chain the attack and all those kind of cool stuff, right? Which we enjoy doing. Personally, I enjoy doing some of this cool stuff, right? But then the most important thing is the report that you present to your client, right? Is the report that you present to the organization that has employed you to carry out the pen test. And it is also the same thing, right? The same thing applies to digital forensic, right, and incident response in some cases, right? So because a lot of time when you are doing like incident response, you have to carry out some form of digital forensics, right? A lot of times they put them together and we call them DFIR, right? The most important thing when you are carrying out this activity, right? When you are carrying out this is your report, because that's what you are going to present to the management. That's what you are going to present. If you are working in a cybersecurity organization like myself, that's what you are going to present to the clients that has contacted your organization for the service, right? So very, very important. And most time you have to make sure that what you are presenting is in a way and in a manner that is well understood, right? That we always say anybody should be able to pick up your report and be able to make sense out of the reports, right? It's not like, you must maybe you must organize maybe a quick Google Meet, a quick Zoom meet all the time that somebody is going through your report, then probably you've not written a great report, right? We'll be looking at some of these things, right? Maybe your report is being used in the court of law, right? Your report must be presented in such a way that when they are reading your report in the court of law, it makes sense to everybody. It makes sense to everybody. It's just like the training we are doing here, right? We try as much as possible to make sure that we spell everything as simple as possible in such a way that if even anybody that comes to join our session properly understand the knowledge that we are communicating. Same thing applies when it comes to all these things. After you've done your own analysis, you've collected all your evidence, right? You've done important thing, you make sure the evidence is not tampered with, right? You must you must make sure that it is readable and understandable, right? A lot of times you don't want to put technical jargons in the parts that non-technical people are going to be looking at, right? So you save all the technical jargons, all the nice things that you've done, and you want to showcase your level of skill for the technical part of the report that is going to be handled by technical people. Okay, so it is used in investigation involving cybercrime, digital breaches, fraud, insider threat, and all those kind of stuff, right? So very, very important, right? So digital forensic investigation in things like cybercrime, data breaches, digital breaches in any form, fraud, and insider threats. And the goal is what make finding admissible in a court of law or internal investigation. Right? Remember that when they are presenting, my lord is not going to be following up with all your technical jargons, right? My lord will probably not know what Linux terminal is. My lord will probably not know what that command, maybe trace route is. maybe all those your Google Docking stuff, maybe when you're investigating, maybe you carried out a network analysis and then you use Wireshark. My lord is not going to know all those your filter rules, right? So you must make sure that you communicate in a way in the reports, right? Or if you are being invited to come and present physically, right? What you are communicating with my lord, you are communicating at a level that my lord understand. So sorry, forgive me for using my lord. I just love doing that, right? But you get what I'm saying, right? That the judge actually understand what it is that you are communicating. Okay. So yeah, and yeah, so moving on, importance of digital forensic. Importance of digital forensic. So why do we need to do this? Why is digital forensic important, right? Of what use is digital forensic, right? So investigate crimes and security breaches, right? So remember that we move on beyond we are now in like I get to say like we are completely in the digital era, right? Almost everything we do right now is digital, right? Even the market woman, the woman selling something close to your house at the market, the woman selling. Okay, so here in Nigeria, for our international audience, right, we have something. Sorry, I'm always promoting Nigeria. Yes, I can't just help it, right? Right. Um, okay, right. So we have a street food here called akara, right, which is like beans cake, right? So we usually have women that sell it at some strategic junctions on our streets, right? So right, and those most time those women are usually not educated, right? Like a lot of time most of them are illiterate, right? There's no formal education, right? But they are good at what they do, right? And they're always they are lifesavers in our society, right? So most of these women now use digital device one way or the other, right? Maybe electronic money payments, right? They have some digital mobile device, right? And in fact, right now we have some of them that even use smartphones, right? And all those kind of things. So that shows that, oh, that shows that a good population, right, of the world is now in the digital era. Because I mean, those people are like at the lower level of formal education, right, and they're already making use of all these digital products. Okay. All right. So what I'm saying is, right, sometimes these women, right, is one thing we've noticed that a lot of time the bad guys, right, the cyber criminals always try to prey on these people because they don't have formal education and all those kind of things. So we have people scamming them of their earned money, right, which I am very, very against, right? I am very vocal about my talk against cybercrime and all those kind of things, right? Very, very vocal about that, right? So let's assume that one of those persons has been defrauded of their hard-earned money, right? It is our job as digital forensic experts to come and say, oh, this young man, this is what you did, these are the evidence to what you did, and then we can make sure that that person actually serves the death term, right? So I hope you guys understand me. Sorry, I lost my chain of thought along the way, right? You guys have some very very funny comments tonight, right? So investigate crime and security incidents, and then sometime we want to recover lost or deleted data, right? Want to recover lost or deleted data, right? Also very important. Some of these things we actually do them using digital forensic technique, right? So sometime, right? I don't know if I've said that here, right? But in the world of computing, right, there's really no such thing as deleting, right? So that's why it is possible that if you said you've deleted something on a mobile device, right, it is possible for an expert to come and retrieve what it is, that thing that you said has been deleted, right? Right. So I don't want to go too deep into that, but let's just brush quickly on that. So there's something called abstraction, right? Abstraction, right? In computing, there's something called abstraction. Like you just remove some technical information, right? So to an extent, we can say the word delete is a level of is a kind of abstraction, right? What happens most time in IT, what happens most time in computing is things get overwritten. You don't click a button and something disappear, right? You don't click a button and that information get deleted, right? That's why you can always come back and then maybe you go to your recycle bin, or you go to, if you are using your smartphone, you go to maybe your trash, right? And then you recover that thing that's and recover that thing that has been said to be deleted. Okay. So yeah, so we don't really delete. So what can happen is that there's a memory space, right? What we try to do is that, oh, we overwrite what is in that memory space. That's when that information is has been lost. Okay, so you guys are complaining about how many times I'm saying right. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's interesting. Please, let's just enjoy the plenty rights tonight. Okay. So I hope you understand what I'm saying. So with this understanding that there's no deletion, right? You can't really delete something. The highest thing that you can do is to overwrite it, right? Then most time, but most people don't know about this, right? So they just try to say, "Oh, I've deleted the evidence." It is now for you as the experts to come and say, "Okay, oh, let's retrieve this information." Since we know that, oh, it has not really been deleted, right? But then the limitation is that we just hope that the information that we are looking for has not been overwritten. Okay. All right. So we'll touch on those things as we move on, right? So recover lost or deleted data. I remember there was a time, I think about, I can't remember, I think maybe 2 years ago, I had a cousin who was learning photography, right? I have a friend who was learning photography, and so they went to capture a wedding. They went to capture a wedding, and for some interesting reasons, one of his colleague deleted the wedding photos. Someone lost the wedding photos, and someone was brought in to help recover those wedding photos. Yeah. So that's one interesting situation scenario that has happened, and I had to bring in my forensic skills to help with that. Okay. Inside Steve is asking, but can shift control delete permanently? No, no. Even when you delete something from the recycle bin, trust me, we can still get it back. Yeah, the only thing that can make that file not retrievable is if it has been overwritten, right? Okay, so open heaven. This your question is quite suggestive. Okay, then what of an expert that overwrites it? So once it has been overwritten, then that information is actually gone. Okay. So Kubura, yeah, I think I've done justice to going deep in such a way that everybody can understand. Okay. So yeah, we'll be touching on some of those, how to recover those files. We'll be doing, I mean, as part of this session, right? In fact, let me just give you a sneak peek. So as part of your projects, right, when it comes to this digital forensic, you are going to be given an Android image, and then you are going to recover some files from the Android image. You are going to analyze it, and then you are going to, yeah, you are going to say if the owner of the Android of the mobile device is a criminal or not, right? So you are going to help us catch the criminal. Okay. So yeah. Okay, so beautiful question by Edit Ian. What happens when the HDD crashes? Can it be recovered? Yes. So I love this question, right? So when a hard disk, right? A hard disk drive crashes, right? Most time when hard disk drive crashes, it is the operating system that crashed, right? You can still recover. It is possible for you to get those file, right? It's possible for you to get those file, right? Yeah. So sometime maybe when the hard disk of a device crashes, right? Then they will remove the hard disk and then plug it as an external storage to a computer, right? And then they'll retrieve your file for you, right? So that's what the experts do. Maybe the electrician, the all those experts, that's what they do, and then they collect good money for it. Okay, so somebody is asking overwritten in what sense? This is Bello Victoria, right? So you write something over it. That's what I mean by overwritten. So remember, the memory is like a space, right? It's like a space. There's a lot of space. The more memory you have, the more space you have to put information on the device. So when I say overwrite, right, that means that space that information used to be, you put something else in that space. So okay, let me try to explain the way this thing work. I think that will help drive home the point I'm trying to make. So let's take our storage device as an example, right? Your hard disk, right? So your hard disk has memory space, okay? So that marks Dre. I love this question. I'm going to address it with this my explanation, right? There are memory space, right? And usually, right, we have different file system. We have Windows file system, we have Linux file system, right? Now, please let's slow the question so I don't lose my train of thought, please. Right. So we have memory space, right? Now, what happens is that your Windows system, right, is in charge of knowing where an information is stored in the memory, right? So there's something, imagine a table that will now tell you that, oh, all the pictures about Emmanuel is in memory space 112, right? Then all the music, right? All the gospel music for Emmanuel is stored in memory space 223, right? Then all the PDF file for Emmanuel is stored in memory space 334. So remember that, so the memory space has addresses, right? So when you click on delete, right, what will happen is that table, right, that contains the different addresses of those places, right, that contains the different addresses of those pictures, videos, PDF, and all those kind of things, right? It will stop referencing that space, but that information is still there. Right now, there's a lot of space that can be referenced. So maybe when you now have a new information to store, right? Maybe you have a new PDF. So on that table now, it will now be referenced to a new memory address. Now, remember what, like I said, when you click on delete, what just happened is that that table will no longer reference those locations. It does not mean that those information are not in those spaces. It does not mean that those information are in those addresses. It just means there's no reference to those places. Okay, so now if we want to retrieve those information, we just probably we don't go through that table that is pointing where those things are. We just go and remove all those information. So the only way, right, that you can actually make sure that that information is no longer on that hard drive or on that storage device is to now put a new thing in that space. So that memory space 112 that used to have our what did I even say? Our pictures, right? then you can now put something else in that space. So when you once you put something else on top inside that space now, what used to be there now has now been overwritten. You get so right. We are going to touch on anti-forensic towards the end of this. We are going to touch on anti-forensic towards the end of this our lesson, right, of this our session. So one of the anti-forensic technique is that you write a bunch of ones and zero in all the memory space, right? So that whatever is in any memory space gets overwritten. Okay. All right. So yeah, I think that should answer the question, right? So when you format, yes, someone was asking about formatting. So when you format, what you just do is that table that is referencing those spaces, you just remove all those information from that table. Think of it that way, right? You remove those information from that table. So the table no longer references those space. Doesn't mean those information are not there. You get so format doesn't wipe off all the data. Okay, what format does is the only way you can make sure the information is not there is you overwrite all the memory space. Okay, so yeah, I think I have done justice to the question. Okay. No, data on SSD can be recovered. Yes, it's just a different style, but it can be recovered. Data can also be recovered from SD card. Okay, yes, there are ways of recovering those data. Okay, so yeah. Um, okay. Is that why it is difficult to free up space once a device storage no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Okay, okay. That's not why. Can we simply put that deleted file is compressed and encrypted so as to make up? No, no, no. Remember I said it's just that the table telling you where that file is, right, is no longer pointing to where the file is. Doesn't mean the file is not there. Okay. Yes, Victor Egele. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. So when anti-forensic is done, does that mean all evidence are lost and so forensic cannot? Yes, yes, yes. A lot of time, anti-forensic is done to prevent forensic. It's just like those crime movie that you see when somebody uses a gun and then they clean up their fingerprint from the gun, right? Even when the investigators, right, the forensic investigators come and then they pick up the gun and they look at it, right, the person has already cleared the trap, right? So yeah, so the anti-forensic method, we don't deny that, right? Okay. So somebody said practically how is override carried out? Okay, that's interesting. Let's move on, right? I mean we won't be doing that. We won't be doing that in this class, right? Because that's not part of what we want to teach, right? We are not teaching anti-forensic, we are teaching forensic, okay? All right. So yeah, also uncover insider threat or policy violation. Okay, so also that's another reason, that's another importance of digital forensic. Right? So uncover insider threat, policy violation. Um, maybe somebody mm, yeah, maybe there's an insider threat, right? There's somebody in the organization who does not align with the organization goal and probably sabotaging things, right? Or there's somebody violating the organization's policy, right? So digital forensic is one way we can help out to dig out the bad egg, right? And then support legal and HR proceeding. So I believe this is clear. Okay. So areas of digital forensics. So what are the areas of digital forensic? What are the areas of digital forensic? Okay, so we have different areas, right? We have computer, right? Hard drive, desktop, laptop, right? Then we have mobile forensic, your mobile phone, your tablet, Android, iPhone, and all those kind of stuff, right? Then we have network forensic, right? Maybe your logs, your network traffic, and all those kind of things, right? Then we have cloud forensics, maybe your software as a service platform, your SaaS platform, your VMs, right? IaaS, PaaS, all those kind of things, right? Then all those kind of stuff. Okay, then there's malware forensic, right? Maybe a something happened, a security event or security incident happened, and then you have to investigate um the incident, and in the process you discover a malware, right? As part of the process, you want to understand how the malware works, what exactly the malware has done in the network, the level of disaster, not just the one visible to the eye or not just the one we can see. Then there's a chance that there are some that's happened underground, right? So we want to investigate all of those. So we have our malware forensic as well. So moving on, right, we have digital forensic process, right? So remember I said very, very important that we understand that. Okay, I've not said this yet, but we must understand that digital forensic is quite systematic, right? Very, very systematic, right? So there's a process that is going to be followed, right? There's a process that is going to be followed, right? And this process, right, um, it varies, right? I mean, different authors have different number of processes, right? But then you always, at the end of the day, right, we can always classify these different processes under these four, right? Which is collection, examination, analysis, and reporting, right? Collection, examination, analysis, and reporting. Okay, so very, very important. So yeah, think it's almost time for a break now. But so I will just look through the comments, see if there's any question that I need to address, and I'll do that. Then we'll take a break. Okay. So thank you, Emmanuel. But please, what about the concept when files is deleted, memory free all more space if the files are still there somehow? How is the memory space freeing up? Okay, beautiful question, Victor. Right. Remember I said it's just the table referencing those memory space, right? So what just happened is when you delete some file, right? If you, it's just like saying, oh, this part of the table should not reference this other part of the memory. Okay, so when you do that now, it's not like what happens is your computer, when those space are being used and it is noted on the table, right? Your computer knows it's not supposed to write anything in those space, because writing anything in those space means the file will be lost. You get, so when you free up memory space, right? It's just that, oh, this space that we used to say is unavailable for writing before is now available for writing. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so sound loss production. I do data recovery for SSD, HD, and SD card, but you will need to scan and then you will need twice the drive size to put the file it found. Most times, some of those files don't come back the same. Yeah, yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, very true. This is actually from experience. Sound loss production. Yeah. Um, yes, VM is virtual machine. because most time when you reuse them, they overwrite on the space. Yeah. So I want to believe sound laws can make a lot more sense of what I am trying to explain. Okay. Okay, someone is asking, is malware an app? Malware is malicious software. It's short for malicious software. Okay. So okay. All right, so let's go on break now. So we'll be back in the next 10 minutes. Okay, and then I'll address some of these questions. And yeah, thank you. Thank you guys. See you soon. All right, guys. Um. So yeah. I hope you all have submitted your attendance. Okay. So all right, thank you. So yeah. So remember I said fundamentally, right, we have four, but I mean different authors will give you a different number, right? So but then at the end of the day you can always summarize all the of the different opinion, right, under this four, at all of the different processes under this four, which is collection, examination, analysis, and reporting. So um so I have another one which is seven, right? And then um if you should look at this, you will see that all of these seven process still falls under the four process which we listed earlier, right? So we have identification, preservation, collection, examination, analysis, reporting, and presentation. Okay. So, evidence type in digital forensics. So, some things you want to look out for gathering evidence, right? We have files, emails, chats, documents, log files, browsing history, network captures. Then metadata are also important when it comes to digital forensic, right? One very important thing when it comes to forensic investigation is timestamp, right? So most time what you'll be doing, you need to be able to put timing to your report, right? So timestamp, right? So very important metadata, auto information, and those kind of other kind of meta data, right? So if you take a look at metadata, maybe a Word document, right, you can see the time it was created, the date it was created, the name of the computer it was created on, maybe an email address, and all those kind of information. All of those things are in the file, right? So all those things are contained in the metadata. So very, very important. So now, having explained this, right, there's one thing we need to note down, very, very important when it comes to digital forensic, right, is that because a lot of time, right, we'll be dealing with memory, right, we'll be dealing with maybe storage of one form or the other, or memory, whichever one you want to call it. So it is important that we note that there are two main type of memory. So we have the volatile and then we have the non-volatile, right? So we have volatile evidence and then we have non-volatile evidence. So what do we mean by volatile evidence? What do we mean by volatile evidence, right? So just in layman term, right, volatile evidence are evidence that can be easily lost when there is no power. So for example, right, we have volatile memory, which is like your RAM, and then we have non-volatile memory, which is like your storage, right? Your ROM, your hard disk, your SSD, your flash drive, your SD card, and all those kind of things, right? So those ones work with or without power, right? But then all the information contained in volatile memory, like your RAM, right? Your random access memory, right? If the device should be shut down, if the device loses power, right, then we know like those informations will be very hard to retrieve. But then information stored on storage devices like SSD, HDD, flash drive, SD card and all those ones, with or without power, right? We are sure that those information are always intact. Okay, so volatile, so lost if power is turned off, like I explained already. So RAM, and then another thing is volatile um evidence, right? Also sometimes needs active connection, maybe a browsing session, right? So if there's no internet, there's a chance that you might lose that information, right? And then non-volatile, like I explained already, hard disk drive, USB, cloud storage, and all those kind of stuff. right? So yeah. So some tools that we use when it comes to digital forensics. So we have different tools, right? Some of them do basically almost the same thing, right? But I mean they have where they complement each other, right? So we have disk imaging like FTK Imager, DD, and case. We have tools for analysis. We have tools for analysis like autopsy, sleuth kit, X-ray. We have network tools, right, like Wireshark, TCP dump, and I mean we use Wireshark already. Then we have some tools for mobile forensic like Celebrite, Magnet Asium, and some other ones that are not here on the list. So the list is quite extensive, but you can see some with alongside their brand logo or their company logo, like you can see on the slide. Okay, so yeah, so evidence collection principle, right? So now also one thing you must note, right, that is very, very important when it comes to digital forensics, right, is that it's very important, right, that we make sure that the evidence is properly preserved, right? Right. So evidence collection principle, right? You must maintain integrity and reliability, right? So we are going to be elaborating on this as we proceed. Then minimize contamination, right? Right. Minimize contamination. Okay, so you want to make sure that data is not being messed with, right? So there's something called chain of custody, right? That helps us to prove that okay, our data has in no way been tampered with. Data has been in no way tampered with. Then follow best practices for documentation, very important. And then we use right blocker, and then we log every event. So right blocker are like tools that we use to make sure that okay, in the process of using the evidence, um data is not being tampered with, right? So we can't write to the storage, right? We can't write to the evidence to help us. Yeah, then log every action. So every single thing every single activity you carry out on the on the on the evidence, right? You want to put it down, right? So proper documentation. So your evidence, your reports can be accepted in the court of law, right? So very, very important. Yeah. So someone okay, Balogun said autopsy. Okay. Oh, this is Benga Richard rather. So is it the same autopsy used on dead body? Okay, no, this is the name of a tool, right? The name of the tool is autopsy. Yeah. You can browse it online, right? Is the logo is that of the logo is that of I'm coming, where is it? This is it. This logo is that of a dog holding a lens. Okay, so it's not okay. So very important. Then another thing in right when collecting evidence, right, we have some do's and some don'ts. Okay, so do's, right, you want to label everything, you want to use chain of custody form, you want to take proper photos or proper screenshots, right? So you are not just saying things, you have evidence backing what it is that you are saying, right? Then some don'ts, right, you don't want to alter the file, right? You don't want to tamper with the file in any way. You don't want to use the suspect device directly, right? Then forget you don't want to forget to document. So I can't remember the name of somebody, right, that made a comment earlier on about retrieving lost device, right? And I said, oh, that person, I mean, reading that, I could understand that the person is speaking from experience, right? He spoke about using storage device double the size of what it is that you want to retrieve, right? Yeah, that's also one of the practice because you want to make sure that you are not losing any file when you are copying the file, right? That is one thing, right? So you want to make sure you have enough storage to retrieve the file that you are trying to you have enough storage to get back the file that you are trying to retrieve. That is one thing. And also when you are carrying out forensics, right, you don't want to carry out digital forensic on the on the direct evidence, right? So, or maybe on the direct suspect device, right? What you will do most time is you will duplicate the information, right? You make a duplicate of it, right? You image it, you copy it, whichever one, right? And then after you do that, then you carry out your investigation, you carry out your forensic process on the duplicate, right, on the imaged file. You don't do it on the main evidence, right, because you want to make sure the main evidence is properly preserved. So in case there's a mistake somewhere, maybe you mistakenly overwrite something, or maybe you mistakenly tamper with the data, you know that okay, the mistake is happening on the duplicate one, and then you can always go back to the original one and duplicate again. So like those are like some things, some do's and some don'ts, right? So yeah, someone is asking, how do we label it? It's hard for me to explain. You label it, right? Label the information, right? You put a name to what it is that you are doing, right? So I hope that helps. Okay. Okay, so now I mentioned chain of custody a couple of times, right? So what exactly is chain of custody, right? So a chain of custody is a chronological record of who had access to the evidence and when, right? It is used to maintain the integrity and admissibility of the evidence, right? So very, very important, right? So maybe the evidence is going to be moving between five investigators, right? Each investigator is going to write, document everything they've done, right? When the evidence got to them, what they did on the evidence, what time they did that to the evidence, and all those kind of things. Those it will be properly documented in the chain of custody document, right? So if your chain of custody is not accurate, right? Trust me, and then maybe you are doing something in the court of law, right? You've lost that case. Trust me, you're just going to disgrace yourself as a professional. Okay, so very, 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 very important, right? So if your chain of custody is saying something which is um um if your chain of custody document is not intact, is not accurate, right, then um, if your chain of custody document is not intact or accurate, then the judge is going to discard everything you are saying, right? So very important, very, very important. So chain of custody. Yeah, some of the logging, someone is asking about logging, right? Some of the logging will be done in the chain of the custody document. Okay, so I carried out XYZ on this evidence, and then that will be logged in the chain of custody document. Okay, so thank you guys. You guys are being so nice in the comment section. Okay, I never knew you guys like me this much. So thank you. You guys, don't worry, don't worry. We are good. Okay, please, there's no need to pity me. Okay, thank you. I appreciate, by the way. Okay, so yeah, so chain of custody is very important for maintaining integrity because that's the only way that's the only way that we can actually know what has been done on the evidence, what time it was done, the sense that was made out of it, right? So if what you are saying is different from what is on the chain of custody document, then there's a problem, right? Okay, so very, very important. So you must this like there's no way you talk about digital forensic that you are not going to talk about chain of custody. Very, very important document. Okay. So Yeah, so component of chain of custody, right? So we have evidence ID. So for the person that was saying, oh, how do we label, right? So there's a name, right? This evidence 101, right? And then whenever we're referring to evidence 101, we know that we are referring to the mobile device that was retrieved from the suspect's house, okay? Then maybe when we say evidence 201, then we know we are talking about the laptop, right? Then the time and the date of acquisition, these are some important part of the chain of custody. Then we have name of collector, right? Okay, so this document was collected by Emmanuel. This document was collected by James Ogunjimi. This document was collected by Bright Oge. Then it was handed over to Jude Maris, Ali, and all those kind of. So very important. Then we have description of item, right? So we are going to say, okay, this properly describe the item, right, in such a way that we cannot deny that that is what you are talking about. Then transfer logs, right? Okay, so it's moving from Emmanuel and it is going to Anita, right? Okay, from Anita, it's moved and then it was um from Anita, it's moved to Obadiah, then from Obadiah, it's moved to Balogun Babantude and all those kind of things. So that's yeah. All right. And so why chain of custody matters, right? So it helps to prevent tampering or allegation of malhandling, right? It helps to prevent tampering or allegation of malhandling. So we know everybody that had access to the document, and these people cannot deny, right? We know what time they got access to the documents and then they cannot deny, right? So if there's any mix up somewhere, we know who we can hold accountable, right? Then it's also essential for legal precedent. Remember I said if your chain of custody document has been tampered with, right, trust me, you've lost the case, right? You've lost your respect as a professional, right? You are just going to disgrace yourself, right? Yeah, then build trust in investigation finding, right? So build trust in investigation finding. So because we are sure, okay, this is everything that was carried out on the evidence, right? Then we can trust what you are seeing. We can trust the conclusion that you came to after the investigation. So very, very important, right? So please, when you're carrying out digital forensic, very, very important. Please don't play with your chain of custody documents. Don't play with your chain of custody documents. Okay, so yeah, so having said all of this, I have my own question to you guys. I always like asking questions, right? So having said all of this, what are some best practices you guys think are important when it comes to digital forensics? Right? What are some best practices? So please let me know in the comment section, guys. Okay. Oh, Kenneth. Thank you. Thank you. Amen. Amen. Okay. All right. Okay, Dr. Honest Ame, you must not be biased. Yes, you must not be biased. Very, very beautiful. I love that. Yes, faith talks with melody. Faith talks with melody. Safeguarding of the chain of custody. Yes, thank you with your life. Okay, now Oladuni, document every process. Very correct. Emmanuel Ayo, do not work directly with the suspect system. Yes, you duplicate. Right. PWTTV, label everything. Yes. Bami Boye, chain of custody is one of it. Yeah. Michael, chain of custody, of course. Pev Bennett, build up trust as a professional. Yes, very true. But how do you build up trust, right? So explain it. Maybe you want to touch on this. Pev Benedict, James Mary, right? Ayodele Julius, integrity, right? Oluwaseun, record keeping, Jude Maris, come with your question again, please. Okay, that here's the question on the screen. Just read it. Okay, that editing and proper and timely documentation procedure. Yes, proper and timely documentation. Sound loss collection. Yes, this was the guy that I was trying to remember. I mean, I'm not even sure if it's a guy or a lady. Right, collect evidence. Right, Yosi Oladipo, Joyzy, keep documents safe and confidential. Yes, please don't go and be showing the documents to your friends. Right, and Temitope Emmanuel, separate items for log. Okay, Daramola, trust, yeah, tight stay, keep all your evidence without neglect, right? Sammy and mom, integrity, okay? Okay, Akin Gbesote Oluwatosin. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So the CIA triad must come into play. Yeah, but please put context to how the CIA triad is coming in. Cynthia, each step should be documented. Yes. Um, Tema B Ven, protection of evidence from being tampered. Yes, very, very correct. Like, how do you go about this? You duplicate, right? Then Ifelowo, digital forensic lab best practices, being straightforward and doing the right thing. Okay. What do you mean by this? I mean, being straightforward and doing the right thing can be anything, right? This is like one of the student trick. Okay. Agbo Kelechi, maintaining integrity. Yeah. Okoli Grace, integrity. Immunimo, confidentiality of information. Yes, very important. Confidentiality. You don't go, all right, you don't go online talking about some things. Very, very important. Yeah, Olayemi, maintain high level of confidentiality. I love this, right? Then gospel vibe, you must be careful with your chain of custody. Yes, very, very careful. PWT, label everything. Yeah. Tema Biven, protection of evidence from being tampered. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct. Omoni record must not be ambiguous. Beautiful, beautiful. Right. Bright, okay, omo, be like say yes, chain of custody is very strict. Yes, you must maintain it. Very, very important, right? Adeleke, ensure timestamp in there. Yes, timestamp is very, very important, right? So, yeah, there's so much. Fact must be said. Ebenezer, Cynthia, gather evidence. Make sure original document is secure. Yeah, there's so much. You must not show sympathy. Abara Christian, yes, you must. There must be no bias. You work with facts, right? Using the appropriate approach to device like using Wireshark and FTK caller wale. Yes, you use the appropriate approach, right? Yeah, that's correct to an extent. Okpeyemi, log every finding. Very, very correct. I know Taiwo labeling is very important. Proper documentation from Kuburat. Oh my God, this is so much, guys. Let me just jump down. I'm so sorry if I missed your one. Please don't be angry with me today. Okay, so yeah, so let me show you guys something. So okay, so let's quickly search for hush puppy courts affidavits, right? I love to show this in my sessions like this, right? So please, if you are thinking of venturing into cybercrime, please, I beg you in the name of God, desist from it, right? If I know you, no matter how close you are, even if you are my brother, my cousin, yeah, my dad, my uncle, whoever you are, if I find out you're into cybercrime and you're caught and I'm invited to use my professional skills to prove that you're a criminal, trust me, I'm going to do, like I always say, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure you end up in jail. Yes, so please, yeah, I just have to put this out. So I advise you guys to look out for this document, right? Read through this document to know what some of what this document looks like. Then if you read through this document, you see, let me make this big because I know some people might not be seeing this, right? This is okay. This is Hush Puppy's This is Hush Puppy's court affidavit. This was what was presented by the professional, right? If you read through it, you have an idea of what this kind of report looks like. Then you can see criminal complaints by telephone or other reliable electronics. I, the complainer in this case, says that the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief, beginning no later than, so you can see now that there's proper timing, right? No later than October 15, 2019, and continue through at least this in the county of Los Angeles, blah, 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 blah. Then if you go down, then you can see the professional, the affidavit. I, Andrew John Innocent, being duly sworn, declare and state as follow, right? I am a special agent of the FBI and I have been so employed since approximately, so you can still see proper timing, right? I am currently assigned to the Los Angeles field office, blah blah blah, stating why I are qualified for this and all those kind of things. Now, someone was asking, oh, what do we mean by naming? What do we mean by labeling? So this affidavit is made in support of a criminal complaint against an and arrest warrant for Ramon Olorunwa Abbas, right? Also known as, right, Ray Hush Puppy, right? Also known as Hush, also known as Abbas. So you can see this is like proper naming, right? Proper anatomy, right? Okay, all these are aliases, right? We are putting it here so that we know who we're talking about. Conspiracy on the to engage in money laundering and a lot of other things, right? Then if we come down, um then you can see establishment. Ramon is a Nigerian national living in the UAE, whose social media account frequently show him designer, blah blah blah, all those kind of stuff, right? There are some things I want to talk about, right? Because I see a lot of you guys talking about. Yeah, so yeah, you can see analysis of co-conspirator one's iPhone and other online accounts show that co-conspirator one operated an taxed money mole crew for a number of fraudulent schemes, including BEC scheme, cyber heist. Analysis also showed that co-conspirator one communicated with using this phone number. You see, like proper documentation, like some of you have said, which is phone number one, right? Then maybe when they get to phone number two, they document the phone number as described below. Phone number one was used on a as was one of the phone number of Abbas used during 2019 and 2020. So you see proper timing, proper documentation and other things. Based on my review, pursuant to federal search warrant obtained in this district of data co-conspirator one iPhone and from an online account connected to the phone, right? The online account, other law enforcement, blah, 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 blah. Here then you can see phone number was also contain a contact for Snapchat username hushpuppy5 and other kind of things, right? The Snapchat contact name the billionaire Gucci master. So you see like there's proper attribution and a lot of other kind of thing. Okay, so okay, so let me take a break here with this. But I mean, you guys have an idea of what this looks like. So I advise, please, just like I did, search for Hush Puppy Court Affidavit in your free time. Go to the Department of Justice, the USA, download this and have an idea of what this document looks like, right? And which is similar to what you'll be doing. Okay, and yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, we also have anti-forensic, right, where people try to destroy evidence, right? So maybe like a lot of people tell themselves, I'll destroy the evidence, I'll use VPN and all those kind of things. Okay, let's not talk too much about those things, right? But just know what will come for you will get you. Let's just leave it at that, right? So yeah, we know there are some anti-forensic, there's something known as anti-forensic, right? Techniques you These are techniques used to evade, confuse, or obstruct forensic investigation, right? So sometimes cyber criminals want to as the forensic expert right? You notice from the hush puppy case which we looked at together the other time that there was proper time stamping, right? They will say, okay, this was done this date. If you should go through the document, I always encourage people to go through it. You see that, oh, it's not just people saying things. They're saying, okay, this was when this was done, right? And all those kind of things, right? So there's proper time there's proper time documentation, right? There's proper login and all those kind of things, right? So sometimes criminals, right, because they know how important it is for proper timing, how important it is to put date and time to things, right? They want to mess with the evidence, maybe the date, the time. They want to backdate some things, they want to tamper with the data and all those kind of things. So you want to be aware of this. Then there's log manipulation and deletion, right? So sometimes they want to manipulate the law to confuse you, putting things to confuse you and all those kind of things. Then use of some anti-forensic tools like timestamp, like Slacker, and all those kind of things. So very, very important that you as a professional that you are aware of this. Okay, very, very important. Okay, so someone is asking, is it possible to lost a laptop and recover the document? It depends. It depends. It is possible, right? But it's not a straight yes or no. Okay, so it depends on a couple of factors. Okay. Then, yes, so key takeaway from today's lesson, right? So digital forensic help investigate digital crime. Digital forensic helps investigate digital crime, right? Evidence must be collected and handled carefully, right? Evidence must be collected and handled carefully, right? Then chain of custody, right? Like we all have said, chain of custody is vital for legal integrity. Chain of custody is vital for legal integrity. So yes, thank you all guys. Thank you for tonight. I'm sure you've learned a few things, okay? Thank you. So I'll just go through your questions and then we'll call it a day. So someone is asking, boss, can you go through docking again? Maybe okay. I mean, if we have time, we could try that in the near future. But it's always tricky, right? Because we don't want to expose some kind of things online. Okay, so we always try to be careful because you could dock for some things and then you don't want to get in trouble by putting some things out there online. Okay, so but let's see what we can do. Okay. Um. Thank you. Yes, maintaining good NDA practice as well. Yes, your NDA is very important. Please, you don't sign NDA and then you go out and start sounding like a great guy, right? You go on Twitter and then you start saying some kind of things. Please, you might just end up in prison. Right? That will be you violating the NDA. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you. Actually, I enjoyed tonight's session and thank you guys for being really nice and I didn't expect the law, but thank you. And yeah, thank you. Please have a good night rest. For those who are already in the evening, right? And then if you are still in daytime, have a great day. And please, I encourage, please go through Hush Puppy's court affidavit, right? And then if you have friends that are venturing into internet crime, please beg them, tell them now that you can, not to desist from it, right? Because like I always say, I'm very unapologetic about it. I will be very happy to make sure they spend a good time in jail and then they pay for what they are doing. Okay. Um. So I think I have a few questions here. Okay. So James Damilare Shubo. But no, no, tonight, remember we always lay foundation, right? We explain the theory and then as we progress, we'll start talking about the tools. So we'll get to the technical parts. Okay, so let's lay the foundation. Let's understand the theory before we start doing two. No, no demo for tonight, guys. No demo. Okay, okay. Fascia King, in a situation where your data protectors aren't giving access, what do you do? I mean, in the situation of Hush Puppy, okay, where iPhone doesn't release its password. Okay, now that one is that's very interesting, right? I don't want to say some things online, right? Because we're online, right? But yes, just think about it. How did they crack Hush Puppy's iPhone? I'll leave you to think about that and whatever conclusion you arrive at. Okay, okay. Otabo Edward, Ima, please let them give us table of content. Okay, okay. I think I'll communicate that and let's see how we can make that happen. Okay, Ebenezer, does digital forensic guy also work hand in hand with telecommunication during the process, especially while working on phones? Yeah, so I mean, you sometimes it will warrant you to make requests to some place, right? You could make requests to some companies to supply you as long as you have some legal backing. Yeah, you can always make requests, right? Requests can be made to your telecommunication to supply your call logs. Yes, some very interesting things can be made as long as you're in that country and there's a legal backing. Some kind of things you can't imagine. That's why I'm okay. For those into cybercrime, please just desist. Okay. Yes. Because just to cite some cases, there are people that have been read through Hush Puppy's case, right? You will see how things are being done and how far we go in some investigation. Okay, how far we go in. I mean, sometimes they pick people from countries, right? They extract them to another country where their case can be properly handled. So all of those things happen. Okay, someone said I'm not answering. Ola Milekon David, I didn't see your question. Forgive me. Can you type it? Hopefully, I will see it. Okay. Okay, someone said, yeah, I wish this is a physical class, Chukwu Mary Harmony, so I can ask some serious question. Someone is still asking, how can we overwrite? I thought we answered that already. Please just go back in the video, please. Okay. Someone is asking, how can we use forensic to get accurate location of victims and potential victims? Oh yeah, if you don't have a laptop, you are not left out. Oyebisi Timileyin, right? Like I said earlier on, right? Just try to follow up in the class, right? Do what you can do with your mobile phone, right? Yes. No knowledge is a waste. So James, just imagine you have a suspected amount of money logging into your account. EFCC can get cut order. Okay, to stop the account from operating without your consent. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean there was a case of I don't want to call out an organization name, right? There was a case of a suspected breach, right, some time ago, a couple of years ago, right? And in the process of investigating and tracking the money that was stolen from that organization, there was actually an account freezing up to fifth beneficiary. So for those that don't understand, it's like so this is what they mean by up to fifth beneficiary. So Justina, right? Okay, Justina is a hacker, a bad hacker, and then Justina stole money from that platform. Then Justina sent the money to Chukwuemeri without Chukwuemeri knowing that Justina stole the money, right? Chukwuemeri then sent the money to Yosi Oladipo, right, which is number three, right? Yosi Oladipo sent the money to Olayemi the Olayemi, which is for Olayemi, sent it to Ude Philip, right? All five of you that way, your account will be frozen, and it was actually approved by the court. So a lot of interesting things happen. Okay, okay. So please stay away from cybercrime, guys. Stay away from cybercrime. Okay, so I think okay. Um so I think we are good for tonight. I've tried as much as I can to answer your questions. And okay, considering chain of custody document, should we reject a document, chain of custody, should we reject a document or file already tampered with before it gets to us? So if it gets to you, it depends, right? Right. You definitely will be documenting that, oh, you believe what you are receiving has been tampered with, right? I mean, how do you know it has been tampered with, right? Those are like some questions, okay? Yeah, but then, yeah, you might ask for the accurate one. Okay. Um, okay, someone is asking, what about those that use cold wallets these days? Okay, I've seen cases of people trying to venture into cybercrime, and then they try to use crypto. I mean, there are a lot of there are a lot of theory out there, right? Even in the professional world, when it comes to cryptocurrency. Yeah, I mean, there was a case of a Nigerian that was recently like hijacked, right, by the US, right, and he claimed to be a successful businessman, real estate, and all those kind of things. And but if you go through his case, basically, well, he did cybercrime, right? Converted it to cryptocurrency to make the money not trackable and all those kind of things, right? So, God help us, right? But I'm just going to say, guys, let's not ask all these questions. Just desist from cybercrime, please. I beg you in the name of God. Just desist from cybercrime. Okay. So yeah, we'll be touching a bit on some of these, getting some files from mobile device and other, yeah, including some deleted files, right, using autopsy and some other kind of stuff. All right, guys. So I think we'll hit the brakes here tonight. I've said a lot. And please, like I also say, please don't join this session hoping to use this knowledge for evil. Okay, please. Right. And please desist from cybercrime. Okay. Thank you all so much. Please have a good night rest. Bye bye.